Welcome to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the show that brings you man-on-the-street interviews, celebrity guests, groundbreaking research, and heartwarming stories about the reasons we smile. Our show is also known as everything you've always wanted to know about dentistry, but we're too numb to ask. Hello, I'm General Dentist Dr. Kvitko, and thank you for joining me today.
The following views and opinions do not necessarily reflect those of this station, its staff, management, or parent company. To hear a replay of this show or one of the great shows that previously aired, log on to thereasonswesmile.com or iTunes, keyword Dr. Kvitko or The Reasons We Smile. Listeners should not use Dr. Kvitko's comments and advice in place of an actual dental exam.
Brighten your life with a smile that shows the professional touch of Dr. Kvitko.
Time now for The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Call 459-9769 to discuss your dental issues. Now, here's your host, Dr. Kvitko.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Reasons We Smile. I'm Dr. Kvitko. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is show number 516. And today, we're going to be interviewing Fitz. We're going to discuss the pitfalls of waiting to see a dentist even though you know you have a cavity. All right, so we're going to get to that in a minute. You probably know that we've been on Baby Watch. I've spoken about my daughter about to have a baby for the last 2 shows in a row. And she had her little girl named Avery Rose on Monday, so this is her 6th day birthday. So, happy birthday, Avery. My wife is still out there helping out, and so I've been a bachelor this week, and I'll be a bachelor next week, which means I'm responsible to make sure the cat gets fed, and the litter box gets changed, and the lights get left on and left off, and all the stuff that you moms do anyway. So it's like, now I understand, right? Anyway, okay, so hey, before we get started, let me remind you, if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Dr. Kvitko. And if you would please go to my office Facebook page and like us, that would be awesome. It's Dr. Kvitko and Associates. All past episodes, complete with video, are available at thereasonswesmile.com. And we streamed live on Facebook a couple shows, and for the life of me, I can't figure out how to make it work today, so no live streaming on Facebook today. But hey, I was trying. I guess I need my staff every once in a while to remind me how to do this stuff. Anyway, okay, so a lot of times the show topic is about what I've run into during the week. In fact, I did one show several months ago or years ago, I forget, called A Day in a Life, where I talked about everything that I saw that day or a day during the week. And but in this week it was interesting because I had a couple patients who had cavities. One didn't know he had a cavity. This young man, his mom had been a patient, and I'm not sure what caused her. Maybe it was her saying to him, hey, you need to go to the dentist, you haven't been in a while, which is what moms do. And then we discovered about 8 cavities, some on the x-ray, some we could just tell. And when we got in there to do them, which I believe might have been on Wednesday also, this past Wednesday, it still might need a root canal, it was that deep. And the kid didn't even know about them. So I thought we should talk about the kinds of things that, people are walking around with. Some people walk around with cavities and they don't hurt, and some people are walking around with cavities and they know about it, and some don't know about it. And so in the case of that young man, he didn't know he had cavities, and here he almost needed a root canal. And then in the case of Fitz, he knew you had a cavity or two, but it wasn't hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So I have some questions for you. So
Okay.
How long ago were you told you had that cavity?
Oh, man, it's probably a couple months at least. At least a couple months.
Okay, that you knew.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now that's when it broke or a crown came off or something, right?
Yeah, I was eating dinner. I was out on a date night. And I don't remember what I was eating, some kind of vegetable or something. And then, next thing you know, something felt wrong. And then, sometimes you use your tongue to kind of figure it out.
Check things out.
And I was like, oh, okay, my molar is broken.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, at the time it didn't hurt a lot. So I was like, okay, well, there's nothing I can do about it right now. So I'm just going to kind of roll with it. And then Wednesday happened.
Wednesday happened.
Yep. My tooth broke more, and I was in excruciating pain, and that's saying it lightly.
Yeah.
How much pain I was in. So.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than dental pain. Now you know that now.
Mm-hmm.
Even even women that have had children will tell me that this is worse than childbirth.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And you haven't had a child, so you don't know.
Yeah.
You can't compare.
No, can't compare at all, but
because it gets worse than what you had, too.
Mm-hmm.
It gets to where it's debilitating, where you would just, if there wasn't help available, you'd just be sitting in a corner and become like homeless or something, right? Because you can't function.
yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And so what happened in your case, well, first of all, you had a crown on it, so you had no clue it was rotting underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And as you now know, because you've seen the x-ray and you've seen, it was very rotten underneath.
Yes.
Were you amazed at how rotten your tooth could be?
I was shocked.
And you didn't even know?
No, because it was just, you just kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. I was like, oh, well, that's okay. We got problems.
What he means is
We
I
got
kept
problems.
scooping out the decay, kept scooping out the decay. And tooth structure is very hard. Enamel's the hardest living substance known to man. And yet, when it becomes decayed, it gets mushy. And the dentin underneath gets mushy too. And what did it look like? Like the film on top of pudding if you don't make it right?
Yeah, I mean, that's saying it lightly without making you feel kind of
Yeah, gross. in the
grossed
morning.
out, because it was gross, and it's even worse when it's coming out of your own mouth.
And I didn't want to gross you out, but I just wanted you to see what I see. Because X-rays are one thing,
Right.
We look up at the X-ray and says, "Yeah, I see that dark spot, doc." I trust you know what that means, but it didn't mean as much as when I started scooping out that what used to be good tooth.
Yeah, and the constant scooping and you went back 3 or 4 times, and it was
Right.
okay.
And we got into, in your case, the first thing people think we're going to do after we numb is get the drill out. We didn't get the drill out. We just did it by hand, which is also, because here's why. I didn't know for sure you needed a root canal, and I didn't want to be the one that like drilled into the nerve and said, "Oh, you need a root canal."
Right.
I wanted to make sure your body actually was ready for, needed one. Because you can have pain if you're really close to the nerve. And I thought, okay, let's give the tooth the benefit of the doubt. So we went by hand, just hand instruments, just scraping until we got down to solid. And sure enough, there's that little hole, goes right into the nerve, which is kind of what I suspected. But I knew that I wanted to give the tooth a chance.
Right.
So we got that out. And by the way, you didn't know when the decay had popped into the nerve, right?
No.
You couldn't feel anything different. Because this is important, because comedians somehow have decided that they're gonna tease about root canals and lobotomies, right?
Yeah.
When they're talking, oh, it's worse than a root canal, or it's like having a root canal.
Yeah.
And like having a root canal is like having comfort, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, people are scared of that word too, root
Yeah.
canal. It's
Yeah.
it's terrifying, and I was terrified when you said it too.
You were?
Oh yeah, because I've never had a root canal, and people always freak out about it. But then once you the only hard part of the whole thing was just having to sit there for so long, because it didn't hurt at all. I wasn't
But
in any
it does
pain.
take a while.
But it took a while. Yeah, I was surprised how long it took.
Yeah, that's something to know too, because they're not real quick. It's in your case, Fitz, it was a molar, had 3 canals, and each one has to be cleaned out, each one has to be shaped, each one has to be sealed properly. And you might remember when we were sealing, I didn't like the one seal. I didn't like one of the 3.
Yeah,
roots,
I think you did it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, we
Sure.
took it out, did it again, took it out, because the whole purpose is to get this great seal so that tooth will never bother you again. And if I didn't get a great seal, then who knows, 5, 6, 7 years from now, I'd be acting up, and that I would have felt bad if that had happened.
Right.
So we want to make sure we get that sealed up. Now, we always do a Dr. Kvitko question of the day, and let me just give you the phone number so that you can be ready to call, 614-459-9769. What I have to do is make sure you have been given the answer before I give you the question. So, okay, one of the things, and I've said this on the show before, and that is tooth decay never goes away on its own. I think, being my producer, you have learned that.
Yeah. I've learned it.
And so that's important. And it can be around for years without you knowing it, like that young man I was telling you about.
Right.
And then once it reaches the nerve center of your tooth, we're talking about tooth decay now, you're going to experience the worst pain you can imagine. You would agree with that?
Yes, absolutely, yes. I couldn't function that whole day.
You just become a derelict. You're just like, I can't work, I can't eat, I can't sleep, I can't.
I mean, I emailed you at, what was it, 7 in the morning, 6:30 in the morning,
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah.
this hurts so bad, I need your help.
Right. And luckily I get up at like 5:30, so...
Yeah. Yeah, thank God.
But, okay, so we're going to talk more. I have questions for you as the patient. I want to talk about the other young man that I saw. But if I'm looking at the schedule here, I think it's probably time for us to go ahead and...
Yeah, you can do it if you want.
We'll go ahead and we'll do Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. But before we do, as you know, the lawyers and all those other folks want you to listen to this.
This station will not be held liable for any contesting during The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Participation in the contest allows Dr. Kvitko to record and broadcast your name and call. One winner per household. Prizes are non-transferable, cannot be substituted, and are subject to taxes and fees. This station cannot be responsible for the inability to enter the contest, whether due to equipment malfunction or telephone difficulties. All decisions of Dr. Kvitko concerning this contest or eligibility are final.
And now it's time for Dr. Kvitko's question of the day.
All right, and the winner of the question of the day is going to win free flowers from DeSantis Florist. They'll be delivered to your place of business this Tuesday afternoon. The question is, which of the following is true about tooth decay? A, it never goes away on its own. B, it can be present for years without you knowing it. C, once it reaches the nerve center of your tooth, you will experience the worst pain you can imagine. Or D, all of the above. All right? The winner's going to receive those free flowers from DeSantis. They'll be delivered to your place of business this Tuesday. The number to call is 614-459-9769, 614-459-9769. So go ahead and call now.
You won't believe it though. I wanna hear your mind, and there's nothing else in the world tonight. She said people don't take the time. Hey, people don't take the time.
Hi, I'm Keith Carlos, winner of America's Next Top Model and star of Chocolate City 2. Look for my smile on the big screen this summer, courtesy of Dr. Kvitko. Stay tuned to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of The Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. Did you know that you no longer need to visit several different dental professionals to get more complete dental care? We handle everything from cleanings and orthodontics to restoration, implants, and smile makeovers, all in my office. And now we have 2 locations. Get the most advanced technology and procedures available today. It's more complete dentistry.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
Dr. Kvitko! Let's go!
Hi, this is Richard Simmons. Dr. Kvitko's here, and he's going to help you with all of your problems. Are your teeth yellow? He can fix that. Are you missing a tooth? He can put a new one in. How is that?
That's very good. Thank you, Richard. All right, we're back. We're doing Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. We have 4 callers on the line. We have Sarah, Ann, Joyce, and Tom. And let's go with line number 2, which is Ann. Hey, Ann, how are you? Are you there? Hello, Ann. Uh-oh. Hey, Ann. Oh, I can't hear. I wonder if she can't hear me. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there you are. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Good. I can hear you, too. Hey, thank you for calling. First of all, what is the answer to Dr. Kvitko's question of the day?
Oh, can you give me the answers again, the truth about tooth decay?
Okay.
I don't really know anything about tooth decay.
Well, that's why you're listening. Hopefully you're going to learn a lot about dentistry by listening, so tune in every week and I will tell you which of the following is true. Is it that A, that it never goes away on its own? B, that it can be present for years without you knowing it? C, once it reaches the nerve center of your tooth, you will experience the worst pain you can imagine? Or D, all of the above? And the answer is, hopefully it's obvious.
Oh, wow.
Take a guess.
Okay, can you repeat them again?
Oh, I don't think I can. I think I need to go to probably, let's go to the other caller on line 1. Sarah.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah. Do you have the answer to Dr. Kvitko's question of the day?
It's D.
It is D. Thank you. I'm glad.
You're welcome.
And I'm pretty sure that Ann knew that. I think she just got maybe flustered. But
Yeah.
Ann, try again next week, okay, Ann? We're gonna we'll do this every week, and keep listening because you'll learn a lot about dentistry through the show, okay? All right, Sarah, stay on the line. We need to get information as to how we can get the flowers to you, okay?
Thank you, Dr. Kvitko.
You are very welcome. So, and Fitz is my guest, but he's also my producer today.
Yes,
so
I am.
I'm going to talk just in general terms so he can.
Yeah. Let me get her information.
Okay, yeah, he's going to go ahead and get your information, Sarah, and I'll just talk. Here's your paper there, Fitz. Okay, so yeah, so let's talk a little bit. We're going to go back and talk about that other young man, and it was one of those cases where his mom made him an appointment, as moms do. Thank you, moms. The women in the world basically take care of all of us and don't get thanked often enough. And so I want to thank all of the women in my life and also all of you moms out there, because I'm pretty sure if it weren't for the women, no, there'd never be a guy that would ever go to a dentist. It seems that way. It just really does. So this young man, I think he was probably about 22. And his mom said, you should go to my dentist. She's been a patient for about a year, and she's happy with us. So she's said, I'll send my son in. And, we did about 8 fillings. And I swear, one of them may still become a root canal. The other one was almost a root canal. And there was another one that was medium deep. And I didn't even know. I mean, x-rays, by the way, for it to even show up on an x-ray, you have to have about 30% of the loss of the tooth structure between the x-ray tube head and the film. So you can have a pretty big hole in your tooth before we even see it for the first time. And so when we see a small one, and I get this a lot, in fact, there was another guy that came in, and there was a small cavity on his tooth, and his question was, why do I need that filled? It looks small. I mean, and that's a legitimate question. It's a legitimate question. I took a picture of it and I showed it to him, and I showed him how when I put my Explorer in there, that it sticks. And by the way, that's how we tell, clinically at least, if the Explorer goes into the tooth and catches, meaning gets stuck in there, then it's a cavity, because enamel is stronger than steel. So if I push a sharp piece of steel onto enamel, nothing's supposed to happen. But if I push a sharp piece of steel onto soft enamel, then it sticks. That tells me that at that moment, at least, the steel is stronger than the enamel, so therefore there's a cavity there. And so we, in his case, he said, well, how come, because he had just changed dentists, he said, how come my dentist 6 months ago didn't tell me about this? So I get it kind of from both ends. I get the people that are saying, oh, this can't be a real cavity because I was told I was healthy 6 months ago. You get that, you understand that, right? Mm-hmm. So I always worry about when I find something, is this person going to be happy I found it? Oh, thanks for catching that, Dr. Kvitko, because now I'm not going to have a toothache.
Right.
Or maybe Dr. Kvitko just needs a boat payment. And he's finding no, we've actually had people say that. You need a boat payment.
It doesn't surprise me when people say that.
It doesn't surprise you? And, my answer is, which is the honest truth, yes, I do have a boat. It's been paid for years. It's a 2005. It's 12 years old. So, I'm sorry if I have a boat. But but by the way, it was paid for by the people that came along before you, which is actually true. And they seem to accept that. So then the other young man with the 8 cavities, I didn't get out a mirror like I did for you, Fitz, and show him. There's always this question in my mind, am I going to gross the person out? Are they going to think I'm beating them up about it, being mean to them? I don't ever put anybody in a headlock and say you have to do something you don't want to do, and I don't ever want to make somebody feel bad.
Right.
Because we can't change what happened yesterday or last year or 14 years ago. We can't. So all we can do is, how did you walk in the door? What's your tooth look like today? And this is what it's going to take to fix. Here's the cost. Here's what insurance covers. And do you want us to do it because we can, or we can do it tomorrow, or we can do it the next day? And I think that's a good policy. Now, I do then try to find out, why did they get to this position? Because you now know you have, I think you knew you have 4 other cavities, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and were you given the cost of having those fixed, like at your previous dentist's?
Well, when I went to the previous dentist, I also had dental insurance.
Okay.
So I got the costs on those. But
Okay.
my mouth was much worse because I was afraid of the dentist for the longest time too. So
Right.
So once I went in, I got the cost, and it was like, oh boy.
Okay.
But it's because I needed a lot of work.
Right.
So it's one thing if it's like just a couple cavities here
Right.
and there. But I'm like, I mean, you saw I have 4 right now.
Right.
That wasn't including the stuff that you had already done.
Right.
You know, and before I had probably had 4 other cavities on top of it. So
Okay.
yes.
So the financial part became an issue.
Mm-hmm.
That was after you got over the fear. So first you had fear, which means you stayed away, and then you got the bigger cavities, because you would agree that a small filling costs less than a big filling,
Yeah.
and a big filling costs less than a root canal, and so on. You also thought your tooth was going to need to be extracted,
Yeah.
because a previous dentist had said,
You're not gonna be able to clean it. Like, you will never be able to properly brush back there. You will, no matter how hard you try, brushing, flossing, mouthwash, the whole 9. You're never gonna get it. We might as well just take them out so it doesn't make it worse.
that's a crazy. I've never heard any of a dentist saying that, because what he was really talking to you about was the last tooth in all 4 corners of your mouth. And those are your second molars, and people are supposed to have those their whole life.
Yeah.
3 of your other ones have cavities. Hopefully we'll get them fixed.
Yes.
And so we're going to go into more of that, more of the recommendations and the kind of things that we're going to, the future is going to hold. Also, hey, if you're just joining us, you're listening to The Reasons We Smile. It's episode number 516. And if you're just joining us and you typically tune in, you maybe did not yet hear me mention that my daughter had a baby, Avery Rose, on Monday, 7 pounds, 7 ounces, 19 inches long, and she's awesome. She's doing great. It was really cool to hold her, and I can't wait to see her grow up. But it is time for us to go to a break. You're listening to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, and we'll be right back.
You can't take me as I am, not just a little bit. I don't know who to be. I'm a paper cup, baby, of the sea. I know you see it too, 'cause you're too much for me.
This is Clark Kellogg. Stay tuned for more of Dr. Kvitko.
Estás escuchando con Dr. Kvitko aquí en su estación favorita.
Hi, I'm Dominique Reichert. Like what you hear? Why not use the show to promote your product or service by becoming a sponsor? Call us 614-262-9588 to learn how. That's 614-262-9588. Call now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of The Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. I've been honored to help several famous people get a perfect smile, like Keith Carlos and Dominique Reigard from America's Next Top Model, and Ted the Golden Voice Williams from right here in Columbus. Isn't it time you had a celebrity smile? It costs less than you might think, and most of the time, it can be done in one visit. A new smile can make a world of difference.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
I'm Grandpa, and I go to Dr. Kvitko, and I still have all my teeth. Real ones. Where's my glasses?
All right, we're back. I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is The Reasons We Smile. It's episode number 516. We're talking about tooth decay, the pain that you don't get when you have tooth decay, and the pain that you get if you ignore the fact that you have tooth decay, which, by the way, it's easy to ignore because you don't know you have it till you have a toothache, and once you have the toothache, you probably need a root canal and that sort of thing. Now, I think people would be surprised to hear that their favorite DJ, when we're talking to Fitz, by the way, still has the concern about the cost of dental care. I mean, I think people think that if you have a good job, and you actually have 2 jobs, and so you would think that between two different incomes and insurance, at least one of the 2 jobs would offer insurance, or maybe both would, that the cost of dental care would still be a concern. But it is.
It is.
Yeah. And what I've found, though, here's a little advice for people that find themselves in that position. If you can set aside, this may sound like a lot, but if you can set aside about $40 a month, put it in an envelope. And, I say an envelope and then go hide it. Or open up a savings account and don't touch it. Just keep putting $40 in every month. When you need a cleaning, when you need x-rays, when you need an exam, and even when you need a filling or 2, you're going to have the money for it. Because, remember you said it had been a long time since you'd been? Well, I bet this has always been the case. Every time I do this math, it works out this way. If I take how many months the person's been away from the dentist, like how many months you avoided going, and we then take the cost of the repair that you then need when I see you, and we divide it by that number of months, it's almost always $35 to $40. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't seem expensive, does it?
No.
So it's really, I guess what I like to say about dentistry is not expensive, but neglect is. So it's the same thing with your car. You neglect your car, like you don't check the transmission fluid. Well, the repair to your transmission is going to be $4,000. That's expensive.
Right.
But if you keep the transmission fluid up, if you don't tax it, right, then you're going to be fine. So that's one thing. The other is I want to ask, how long after the root canal did you begin to feel normal? Did your tooth begin to feel fine?
I mean, it was pretty quick.
Pretty quick?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
as once numbing wore off and I, went and picked up my prescriptions and took care of that stuff. It was quick. I mean, it was 24 hours, I'd say, at most.
And you went home and you went to sleep probably because you
Yeah.
were exhausted from everything because it just taxes your body.
Yeah, I mean, the initial pain afterwards, it wasn't as terrible just because, I took the medications when I got them and they worked pretty much right away. But even the next day, the next morning, I felt pretty good. A lot better than I did without question.
That's good. That's good. And I encourage you to take the medicines. We had that little conversation. Some people don't like putting medicine in their body. Some people just want to be tough. It's like, I don't need that. I'll just...
Yeah, don't be tough.
Don't
be tough.
That's what I told you.
Don't be tough. Come
I'm
on.
glad that sunk in. Yes, don't be tough. Because if you don't take the medicine I prescribe, it could be worse pain than when we started. And I warned you of that, right?
You did.
Okay. And I mean, nobody wants that. And there was a time when years and years ago, I don't know if people are getting smarter, they're listening to the show, I'm not sure, but I've always told people to take their medicine. And about half of the people seem not to. And those are the people that will call and say, I'm in such terrible pain, what am I supposed to do? And my first question is, well, I'm surprised, aren't the pills working? Oh, well, I didn't get them.
Yeah.
And
come on.
And so, but I've heard of cases where people who didn't take their medicine, even after I've prescribed the medicine for them again or whatever, or like they declined it, then they tell me, oh, I went to an oral surgeon and had my tooth extracted. So get this, they came in, they paid for a root canal, and then they went and had the tooth extracted and paid for that, only because they didn't take their medicine and now it hurts worse. Why they didn't call me, this hasn't happened in years and years, but it happened a few times and it was like, just blew my mind. Now, your tooth, we put a big pin-retained filling. Did I show you an x-ray or picture?
Yeah, you showed me the whole thing.
Okay, so we put like rebar in your tooth.
Yes.
3 pins, they're screwed into the tooth, they're bent over. It's like rebar and concrete. And so you have this huge filling held in by 3 pins, and we still need to do a crown, so let's not forget that.
Yes.
And I want to get that out there because you have to get this tooth finished, because if we don't finish the tooth, then what happens is the saliva gets in there, it eats away at the root canal sealer, the whole thing is going
to start over all again.
Exactly. And you might lose the tooth that time.
Right.
Okay? So that's my advice. I appreciate you being willing to be on this show, Fitz, for, you probably have helped thousands of people and don't even realize it.
I hope so.
I bet you there are people sitting there right now with a broken tooth or they're starting to get a twinge.
Yeah, I'll say this right now. Don't be cute about it. If it hurts, just go get it done. Just get it done. You're gonna feel so much better afterwards. It's gonna be worth it. And you did a great job. And you made me feel comfortable. And you made me feel really good. So I really appreciate it a lot.
Oh, you're very welcome, and I thank you for that. So that is all the time we have. Thank you so much for listening. And remember that this was episode 516. So if you want to go listen to it again, you go to thereasonswesmile.com. You'll see Fitz there moving his head around. There he's waving right now. And so don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Go to my office Facebook page and like us. Remember, all past episodes complete with video are available at thereasonswesmile.com. Be sure to tune in next week and every week right here on your favorite station. Goodbye.
This is Carly Red from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, the hit show on VH1, urging you to tune in next week with my dentist, Dr. Kvitko.
If you're interested in learning more about this and other dental health topics, go to thereasonswesmile.com to access full episodes of Dr. Kvitko's show.
If you'd like Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist, to speak at your next event, please call 614-262-9588. That's 614-262-9588, or send an email to speaking@thereasonswesmile.com.